Coming up next, 4 career trends that you need to be aware of, and we'll finish our 7 stages to meaningful work. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it starts right now. I am coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. It's about your purpose. We all long to answer the question, why am I here? And we're going to look at it through the lens of work. Now, you are a multidimensional person. You aren't all about work, but you are a huge percentage of your work, meaning you were created to work, to make a difference for our world. So we're not preaching be a workaholic and make a ton of money and it's just about results that are about success that other people define as success. No, we're talking about significance. We're talking about waking up on Monday morning, even when you don't feel well. Even when you're on the journey to the dream and you get excited because you know you're working on purpose, you're working towards something, or you eventually are in that dream job, stage 6. And now you are focused on stage 7, which we'll talk about in a few moments, which is giving yourself away. It's not about income, it's about influence in this stage. And so we all long to do work that matters to ourselves because we want to matter to others. You were created to fill a unique role. You are needed. You must do it. That's our mantra. And so if that feels appealing to you because it begins to connect with your heart, welcome aboard. We're not talking politics here. This is a talk radio show, even though we're on YouTube. We're talking purpose. And so we're excited that you're here. A couple ways to engage. Number one, the phone number, 844-747-2577, right there on the screen, 844-747-2577. You can also text your question in via the chat room right there next to the video window. So it's a chat, just fire away, and we'll get to a couple of those every show. You can also email us, ask@kencoleman.com, ask@kencoleman.com. While you're watching, if you enjoy the program and you have been enjoying it, give us a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up right below the video window there and hit subscribe and maybe share the show with somebody. That's how we grow. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. So I saw an article from Entrepreneur Magazine, one of my favorite magazines, 4 trends that are shaping the future of work. And I like to bring you relevant work data, relevant stories, and trends. And so this is good. 4 quick trends we're going to go over very quickly, but you need to be aware of them. If you are in the workforce, of course, and then if you are in a leadership position or desiring to be in a leadership position, you own a company, you've got to know these things. Number one, going remote is not a trend. Even though it says it's a trend here, it's here. It's already here. It was already here. It is big time here now. 83% of employees, remote or on-site, said in a recent survey that remote work as an opportunity would make them feel happier at their job. So there's all kinds of data that's already out as to how effective remote work is. Now, what we're seeing already is that workers love it. They love it. But leaders are going, this isn't all it's cracked up to be. During the height of COVID, we did what we needed to do. Some are still working from home. They're doing what they need to do now. But it does hurt collaboration and it does hurt culture. It just does. Can you do it successfully? Yes. But to have a combination at the very least, I think you're going to see the data bear this out. That full-time, all the time remote working for larger companies, there are very few that can do it well. Some are doing it and will do it well. But for most, it will be a challenge. Number 2 trend, the digital transformation. Now, don't freak out because we talk about this a lot. You know, people are going, is my job going to be around 10 years from now? Well, I don't know. But the digital transformation is not a threat to you as the employee, replacing you completely with technology, but it is more digitalizing the processes of how we work. So this is a good thing. It's going to make things more efficient. And I, for one, whether I've got my head in the sand or not, remains to be seen. But I, for one, believe that there are certain jobs that will never be threatened by technology or robots because of the humanness of them. Number 3 trend, millennial takeover. This is already happening. I read an article today from The Atlantic that pointed out that the oldest of millennials will turn 40 this year. Yeah. The team behind the glass is a little surprised at that. The oldest millennial will turn 40 this year. They have, for a couple years now, been the largest demographic in the workforce. But now they're taking over leadership positions. They're moving into leadership. And the way they see the world is going to affect the way we do work. That's the point. Number 4, you've got to have a scalable workforce. Now, what do we mean by this? Scalable means we've got to have a mix of full-time employees, part-time employees, and contract employees. For instance, if you look at benefits, 401ks, other expenses involved with just employing people, the average cost per hire is estimated at $4,000. That's just the cost above and beyond their salary. $4,000 with paperwork, turnover, all the stuff. So companies are going to have to be flexible in how they get work done. Either is it contract labor, is it one example. The other example would be hiring companies that specialize in some of the things that you've previously paid or currently are paying employees to do. So those 4 trends, be aware of them as you, the worker, look to stay relevant and be ready to pivot for any changes. For you leaders out there, be aware of those trends because they're going to affect, if they haven't already, affected the way you are going to be doing business. 844-747-2577 is the phone number to jump in. Reminder, we're going to get to the chat room in a few minutes, and then we are going to teach on our final stage to meaningful work. We've been walking through the last 6 shows, our 7 stages. Today, we talk about stage 7, which you essentially get into as you walk into the dream job. You begin the process of giving yourself away. We'll explain what that means, what that looks like in a few moments. 844-747-2577 is the number. Let's go to Matt, who starts us off in Pennsylvania. Matt, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet, Matt. How can I help today?
I've been a chef in food service for about 20 years. And over the past 2 years, I've been sensing that it's ending because I don't think I'm fulfilling my God-given purpose. Mm-hmm. So thanks to COVID, I'm laid off, and I've had the time to dig into that. I started with Dave Ramsey's show, then I started listening to your show. And I also have this book laying around by Greg Groeschel called Kazone, about finding your purpose.
Yeah.
So it showed me that counseling and teaching is the direction. Mm-hmm. And I did think that at one point in my career that I would teach culinary arts, but I'm not sure if that's the direct path or if that's just part of the path.
Okay, good. So did you say counseling as well as teaching?
I did.
Okay, great. So pretty simple exercise here that will really help you with that question of, is it teaching culinary? Is it teaching elementary kids, high school kids, whatever? Is to answer these 3 questions, and they're essentially the same question, but coming from different angles. A, who are the people I most want to teach or counsel? Let's throw that in there because that's another option. What is the problem that those people have that my teaching or counseling would solve? And then what's the best solution to teach or the best solution from a counseling standpoint to, again, solve that problem? What comes to mind when I run you through those 3 questions?
I definitely would say adults or college students, someone that actually wants to be in this scenario.
Okay, I got that.
Babysitter for kids.
Great. Tell me more, though. What are they wanting to learn? Why are they wanting to learn it? Or if it's counseling, what problem do they have? You gotta answer that. Tell me, what's your heart tell you? Don't overthink this.
I just want, maybe it's through my own experience to be able to help people be better, be the best version of themselves.
Okay. Tell me more about your experience. What are you drawing from there?
Well, like in the industry, there's a lot of like drug and alcohol addiction. There's a lot of people that kind of are like, I don't know, kind of hopeless and sort of are giving up from me and my perspective. I've had some financial problems in the past, and I've learned to work through that.
Have you had substance abuse issues like these people in the industry, or you're watching it? You see it in the culinary field?
No, yeah.
You have?
Yeah, I've had a little bit of my own, yeah.
Okay, see, that's great.
And I've gotten...
That's huge. See, you've overcome that, yes? You're in a healthy place now?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Yeah, definitely.
That leads to your why. So when you were saying a moment ago, I just want to help people live their best life, well, that could be what I'm doing. But when we dive into, well, what was your experience? I don't have the experience that you have. I don't have the challenge that you have overcome. I didn't have that. I've not dealt with substance abuse issues. Does it make me better? Does it make you worse? The point is that feeds into your why. So where I tend to see this going with folks is there's always a direct connection from your story, specifically the challenges you've overcome, and the work that you want to do on behalf of others. So you want to help others either A, avoid getting into substance abuse or money problems, or B, and it's maybe both and, help them get out of the pit of substance abuse and out of the pit of financial debt. So when you look at it that way, and I make you choose, and I say you can only choose one, which by the way, we're not going to make you really do this, but just for fun, rank, if you will, by choosing, would you want to be in a role where you are teaching or counseling? Which one is it?
I don't know how to separate the two.
Great.
Like if
Who says you have to?
Teaching, I feel it. Okay.
Great. See, all we're doing right now is we're putting your heart to the test. Do you feel it?
Yeah. I've been struggling with it for a while.
Yeah.
I got this far, and
yeah. So
it's like I'm teaching, I'm missing out on something else.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. The people group you will want to help. If I guarantee you success, you'll do some teaching, you'll do some instructing, and you'll do some counseling. You get to do both. Are you teaching and counseling in the area of substance abuse, or are you teaching and counseling in the area of money? Got to choose. Which one would you choose?
Probably substance abuse.
Yeah.
And maybe, hopefully, or possibly around the restaurant industry.
I love it. See, those are the people.
Because it's changing a lot right now. It used to be what you think, but now it's not. It's a lot different, and I think that there's actually opportunity there.
Yeah, dude.
For people to avoid a lot of what happens.
Yeah. Do you know why they're getting into those? What's your take? You're an insider. Don't overthink this. Shoot from the hip. What do you think is one of the primary causes of substance abuse in the culinary industry?
It's a come down from the adrenaline rush. And also a different kind of come down from having to work so many hours.
Yeah. So you know what I hear?
It's accessible.
Yeah. I hear that the number one cause is what people describe as burnout. I call it buildup. And one of the causes, there's 5 causes of buildup which make you feel burned out. But what's really happening is the heart is being overwhelmed. And they got into culinary arts because they love some type of combination of creativity and serving others, and they love food. And so the creativity, the love of food, and making something that delights others is a pretty good combo. Is that fair? Am I on the mark?
Oh, yeah, you definitely get a satisfaction from that and accolades from that.
Yeah, so guess what happened? Yeah, it's a form of performance. That's why it's called art. And so what happens is you get into that for the love of it, and you're doing it, but then you get overwhelmed because of the way the industry's set up. And you think, well, I've just got to work this many hours. It's the only way I could be successful. And there's no strategy to avoid getting overwhelmed. And then over time, the love gets buried by the work itself. And there's so much of it, you've forgotten how much you love it. Am I still on the mark?
Right. Yeah, you're totally there.
All right, so then what happens? I need to escape.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
All right,
that's what happens for sure.
So I think there's some more thinking. I know there's some more discovery for you to do, which is, how would I go about doing this? but I think you've got to stay in the industry. And so I wonder if you don't set up some systems based on your unique experience where you can help chefs and other people realize the pitfalls that are coming in the industry and how to maintain some sense of healthiness. I don't even want to use the word balance because sometimes you're out of balance. But how can you be out of balance and not overwhelm your heart and lose the joy of the work? I think you're uniquely positioned to be able to figure that out. And I think when you can figure that out, but you are a practitioner still, and maybe you start developing content and it makes its way through the industry because you're the ultimate industry insider, and whatever conventions, whatever gatherings online, and you become the guy that goes, hey, for the love of food, here's what you need to do to stay healthy. You know what I mean? Or whatever you're going to say there. But I think you just got to figure out how you go about doing it. And you become almost like the Dave Ramsey of the chef world, a practitioner who's very successful, but has found the right rhythm, has found a way to fight the hazards of the work. How's that sound?
That sounds good. Is there any credentialing that needs to happen there?
No. You got all the credentialing necessary. You're a successful chef and have been for 20 years. You don't need any credentials. Guess what? The very thing you're talking about is the very thing you've suffered through and come out on the other side. That's about as credentialed as you need to be.
Okay.
If I fall homeless because of a series of bad decisions and then I'm in the pit, who do you think is going to be one of the best people you would connect me to start climbing out? Who would you connect me to if I fell in that situation? Who would you connect me to?
Well, probably someone that has those similar experiences, that's learned from it and is healthy now.
Yeah. I mean, there'd be some good exercises that I could take with a counselor and somebody like that. But at the end of the day, I need to talk to somebody who's walked a very similar path. That's who I'm going to listen to because they know what I'm feeling. They know what I've done, and they know what it takes to get out of it. And so I don't have a super specific answer. I'm happy to spend more time with you than I normally do on a call because I think you just have to spend the time now going, how would I begin to offer that additional services? Those additional services. Could be a podcast, could be a book that you write, you self-publish, could be starting to position yourself where you get connected with chef associations and begin to offer this. I don't know, but I think it's a form of training. I really do. And the counseling that you enjoy informs the teaching and the training that you would offer. 844-747-2577. Stephanie's up next in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I love that. Stephanie, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hello.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi. Oh, sorry. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Are you calling from Woonsocket? Did I say that right?
Yes, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. That's correct.
Woonsocket. So not so hard on the ooh, just more of a woon.
Not so hard on the ooh. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, yeah.
All right. Well, it's a very exciting name, and I think that informed the way I said it. It's Woonsocket. I got it. All right.
Woonsocket.
So, yeah. How can I help you today?
So I'm calling. Thank you, first off, for taking my call. This is really exciting. I've been thinking about calling you for a while. And
yay!
Then, yeah, so I finally got the courage to do so.
Well, you're going to do great.
Thank you. So currently, I'll just give you a little rundown. I'm working full-time. I have a daughter. She's almost 2 years old. My husband's also working full-time. I work in a hospital, which is very unforgiving with our time. With this whole coronavirus thing that's going on, we have been, our daycare has been stripped of us. So my husband's company is being incredibly generous and helping us out with him being able to work remote. But my company, on the other hand, is they're not willing to budge. We're coming into September now, next month, where we're going to be losing somebody who has been helping us with some of the daycare, just because she has to go back to work, and unfortunately, we're kind of put in a crossroads. So I'm also not very happy with the type of the line of work that I'm doing. I don't love it. The company I work for is great as far as pay and benefits, but other than that, that's pretty much it. So, for me, I look at my husband's company and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. They help us out, as far as allowing him to work remote. I would love to be in a position like that, but I also like to be at work. So it's been kind of like jogging my mind as to, well, what do I do from here? I have a slew of things I would love to do. My husband is so supportive, and he's like, hey, Steph, whatever it is that you want to do, I support you 100%. However, he also knows that I'm kind of scatterbrained when it comes to what exactly I want to do with my life and my career. So that's basically why I'm calling.
Well, good.
I have
let's do this. You know what our focus is today? Is to see the clues, to see the patterns, to see the similarities in this slew of things you would love to do. I love that you said slew, by the way. Very this is a great.
Pretty much what it is.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so taking a stab at it, instead, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
I want you to think for a second. All right. I want you right now to run your mind through the slew of things.
So I have a list actually that I've been writing for a while.
How long is the Well, how long is the list?
Well, there's let me see, probably 10 key points.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So
I know, right?
All right,
Tell me about it.
Oh no. Well, I've never done this before where I've had that long of a list, but I'm gonna write right now in my moleskin your list. Give me the 10.
Okay. So public speaking is number 1. Writing, blogging, podcasting. Helping people, financial coaching, something that uses my creativity. I love running as a hobby.
Hold on a second. You're getting so fast on me. Financial coaching. What was after that?
Something that can use my creativity.
Okay, what type of creativity are you talking about?
Like writing. I love to write.
Oh, okay. We already got that one down there, so that's good. I'm going to draw that one up there. Okay, keep going.
I like to run as a hobby.
Yeah, we're not worried about hobby. We're going to take hobby off the list. Because you can run. You can, no matter what you do for work, you can always run. You understand what I'm saying? But
I do. I totally get it.
But you gave me a clue there. We'll maybe get to that. Keep going.
Okay. Something that allows me to be partial remote and something that I can still be in the field. I think being something that has that is really key.
What is that? Is that about not being stuck at the desk but being around people?
Yeah, so I like being in the field. I like getting away from my house sometimes. I mean, I don't think working from home is the best option, full time. But I definitely, I really want to find something that has a work-life balance.
Okay, good.
Like I said, I have a 2-year-old, and I commute 2 hours to and from work every day.
Oh, gosh, yeah, you can't keep that up. Now, listen, it's really important that we're not going to talk about that anymore. But I want you to understand that is a very key component, and that is not addressing what you will do. It's addressing how you will do it. Make sense?
Okay. Absolutely.
So we want to figure out what's the work that Stephanie wants to do. Then we go, well, how does she want to do it? And we know you don't want to be stuck at home all the time, and you don't want to necessarily be stuck in the office. Okay, keep going. We should be close here.
Yes, I would love to work with animals. And the other thing is help homeless or low-income families, help to gain financial stability.
Okay. All right, is that it?
That's it.
All right. Now, what we've got here is a really good list of clues, okay? So right out of the gate, number 1 and 2 tell me what I think you're really passionate about doing. This is defined as work we love. And I think you love being verbal. You love communication. When you say public speaking and writing / podcasting, that is the performer. That's just, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how I am. You are very verbal. You're very sharp. You're very put together here on the phone, even though you're a slight bit nervous. You can't tell.
Thank you.
And so you enjoy that. You enjoy the pressure of coming up with content and delivering to an audience. Yes or no?
I do. I love it.
Okay. So number 3 is helping people. This is where we've got to dig, because this is the answer to mission. Talent, passion, mission. Talent's what you do best. I'm assuming that all the things you listed out, you're pretty good at. Yes?
Yes.
All right, great. So we need to spend any time on that. I knew that, but I want their audience who's new to the show to hear this. So then you've been listing out the things you love to do, work that would really fire your soul up. Now we got to go to mission, which is the results of your work. All work creates results. So we want to focus on a mission. And the way we do that is we ask, who are the people that Stephanie most wants to help? What's the problem or need or want or desire that they have that she really connects to? And then what's the solution or solutions to the need or the desire that she gets most fired up about providing. Are you tracking with me still?
I am, yes.
All right, now you know the answer to this. I want you to say it, and I don't want you to try to make it perfect. I want performer Stephanie to go away, and I want the heart behind the performance to reveal itself right now. Who are the people you most want to help?
So the people I would love to help is other women, something along the lines of being in domestic relationships, like domestic violence relationships, overcoming that. And also other working moms who are struggling with work-life balance.
Okay. So that's the problem you want to help solve. So we know it's women, but then you went down, folks, I want you to follow along how simple this exercise is for you. She said, I want to help women who are struggling with domestic violence or have struggled with it. And I want to help moms who feel like they're overwhelmed with all of the stuff. All right.
Absolutely.
So what's the solution? What solution is it? Writing and speaking, giving them content that is both informative and inspiring?
I would love to do something like that.
Well, I'm asking you. I didn't mean to put that in your head. I'm saying, is that what you want to do? Because I'm going back to I'm going back to the work you love to do, which is to speak and to write and to create.
Yes. So everything I ever tell my husband is I would love to do like some kind of a motivational speaking type of role. And he's like, well, Steph,
well, there you go.
Baby steps.
Right. Yeah. So we don't that's right. You don't just start as a motivational speaker. Well, we start
and that's where I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, where you get started on this right now is in your zip code.
Okay.
So the first place I write about in the proximity principle is where you are, the place where you are. Okay. Most people feel like you got to move somewhere to go somewhere in your career, and you don't.
Right.
So in your zip code, Stephanie, where are the women that are dealing with domestic abuse? Where are those moms that are stressed out? Where are they gathering? Whether it's churches, community centers, I can't talk, centers, or online, socially, right? So that's where the podcast and social media comes in. The old line from one of my favorite movies of all time, Field of Dreams, says, if you build it, they will come.
Right.
And you've got to build it, and those women will come to you. So you start really small. Start volunteering at your church or whatever. Wherever you do life, find the women that are in that need area. And you've defined very clearly 2 needs. Where are those women hanging out? How do I find them in Woonsocket, Rhode Island? And we start there, right? And you start the podcast. And who cares how many people are listening to it to start? You start it. Start locally, local guests. If you can get some national guests, great. Start blogging. Start writing about what you've experienced. Because my guess is you have a very personal connection to domestic violence.
I do, yes.
Okay. Right from your experience.
Okay. Yeah, see, my problem is that I had started blogging about a year ago, and I took it all down. I was like, this is stupid. Nobody wants to read it. This is just dumb. And I've been thinking about it since, and I'm like, no, who cares if people don't like it? Like, you like it. Somebody's out there who's going to be down to like it. Right?
Wait a second. Yeah. Stephanie, are you writing that content for me to stumble upon and read and give you a compliment?
I was probably writing for somebody else instead of just being able to write for myself.
All right, let me ask you the question again. Are you writing that content for Ken Coleman to stumble across it and then send you a note on Facebook and go, really well done. I love your sentence structure. No, really compelling.
Not at all.
So listen to me, Stephanie. Who are you writing that for?
I don't know.
No, you do. Really sure. No, you do, Stephanie. Who are you writing a blog post about domestic violence for? Who do you want to read it?
For other women who have been through that.
Yes, you are writing for the woman who is being abused. Right. That's who you're writing it for. Not for the rest of us.
Right.
That's what I mean.
We live in such a world of hate, and it's so easy to get caught up in it.
I know, but you know what?
Yeah.
You got to remember who you're writing for.
Yeah, so true.
And you got to write to touch the heart of women that are in a really destructive situation.
Right.
All right, Stephanie. So you know who and you know where they are. You need to start helping them now and then start creating content to help those people locally and keep doing it and don't stop doing it. And then the growth and the platform and the audience and the excellence will all take care of itself. But you got to start doing it now. and you got a supportive husband who's behind you. And we're going to do this on the side. You're going to stay in the hospital job that you can't stand because now you realize it's your foundation for the future.
Yes.
All right?
Absolutely.
Hey, Stephanie, listen to me. I really believe in you. And I'm glad you called. And I took a long time. I know I'm long-winded on these calls. I'm just going to call it out. You YouTubers are going, gee whiz, he went 9 minutes with the first guy and 12 minutes. Maybe you're not thinking about it, and I just brought your attention to it. I don't care. Because, Stephanie, listen to me. Let me tell you why I took so long with you. What you're doing is literally going to save women's lives.
Well, that just gave me goosebumps, so thank you.
Well, but that's the truth.
That's awesome.
And I believe that from the core of my being. So you better get about doing it. And I want to hear back from you when you start doing it.
I sure will. I'll let you know.
Stephanie, you matter. You have what it takes. Press on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet. That's why we do it, folks. So if your attention span can't handle that, I apologize. I ain't going to change because that's what we're doing. That's what this is about. This is about Stephanie showing up for the women that she longs to serve. And then when she serves them, she helps them change their life. That's what we mean when we say work that matters, folks. That's what I mean when I open up every show going, you are created to fill a unique role. You are needed. You must do it. Somewhere, some woman is in a destructive, abusive relationship and her very life may be on the line. Or maybe she's not even in that relationship, but she's on the path and she will find herself there. And then she will also find Stephanie because Stephanie had the courage to show up. And it is when Stephanie shows up that that lady and other ladies find the path out of that destructive situation and into their own purpose. Whew. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's go to the chat room. We're going to keep on rolling. I'm going to speed up here, guys, but it is what it is. Nick writes in, I'm in the process of moving to a new country and in a new career at the age of 57. The move has been delayed due to COVID. How can I use this time to prepare? Well, so you're already in the process. And so I would prepare as much as you can logistically on the move, right? You got some extra time. Let's do that. But more importantly, if you're ready to move into the new career, I would be treating this downtime as how can I step into this new season of my life as mentally and emotionally prepared as possible? So mentally, I'm talking about prepared for the work, get trained, do some extra training, do some extra learning, have the mindset. This is what my first 2 to 3 year goal is. Then here's my 3 to 5 year goal. Here's my 7 to 10 year goal. That's the mindset that a lot of people don't really do or take rather, because everything's kind of moving so quick. And so you've got this little bit of a pause here that you can use. And so that's what I want you to do. Sophia writes in, oh, I love this, Joe. I've played basketball for 18 years. Basketball is my favorite sport, by the way. I played basketball for 18 years and it is my passion, but I'm now in my last year of college and they say my knees are too bad to continue on. Have I wasted my time? What should I do? Sophia, no. Sophia, listen to me. Just because the doctors are saying that your knees aren't going to allow you to play in the future at the next level, number one, doctors can be wrong. You can try to prove the doctor's wrong, but then when the body tells you that they are either right or wrong, then you move forward. But let's say that they're right and you try it and you do some treatment, do whatever you can, and you realize, you know what, they're right. I gave it everything I could. Can't do it. Then you look at, I still love the game of basketball. And I've always loved the game of basketball. And I played basketball at a high level. And so how can I fulfill my role in this world, in my work, in the game of basketball? So let me give you an example. Let's just say, Sophia, that you're really good with numbers and you've always liked working with numbers, good at math and crunching numbers. Guess what? College programs need logistic people, stat people. Maybe you jump in that way. You know this. WNBA, NBA, I don't care. They need accountants. They've got accountants. So I'm only giving you that silly example because it's actually not so silly, that if you love the game of basketball and yet you can't play it professionally, what do you bring to the table? Talent, passion, mission, that you can work in the industry of basketball. So that's how you look at this. And again, I think the natural thing, and that's why I didn't say it right off the bat, is to go, can I coach? Maybe you don't have the talent, the innate talent of communication and all the things that coaches bring to the table. Maybe you don't have those naturally. That's fine. What are other areas in the game of basketball that you can contribute? I'd start there. And one final encouragement, when somebody tells you your knees are shot, if you all aren't sports fans, you need to Google Alex Smith, Redskins quarterback, and go back and look at the journey. Nathan, my video director, is shaking his head. He knows what I'm talking about. He's a Vikings fan. And Alex Smith is probably going to play this year in the NFL. And the gruesome knee injury this guy had, was it 2 years ago? And they took out almost half of his leg, rebuilt it. Nobody thought the guy would ever play again. Some thought he'd never walk again. He almost lost his leg. I know it's an extreme example, but there's a guy that gave it everything he had, Nathan. And he was going to find out. The doctor said odds are really long. He goes, I'm in. And I'm going to walk it out. And then if at the end of the journey, if the doctors are right, I'll pivot. And this is the deal, Sophia. I'm not talking about you being delusional. I'm just saying, if you're willing to give it a go, realizing how long the odds are and how difficult the journey is. And let's see how it plays out. And Alex Smith is a guy, and there's story after story after story after story of people overcoming odds, whether it be in sports or not in sports, where they've overcome tremendous physical challenges. All right. I'm telling you, I don't know a YouTube show that crams in more meat than we do. I'm telling you, we've crammed this show full. And now I got to teach on the 7th stage. Here we go. Strap on your seatbelts. It's pretty simple. We've walked through all 6 stages over the last 6 days. Stage 1 is get clear. Stage 2 is get qualified. Stage 3 is get connected. Stage 4 is get started. Stage 5 is get promoted. Stage 6 is get the dream job. And then when we step in the dream job, and I'm there now, I must tell you, it feels really good. The water's really nice. That's why I'm trying to get as many people in the pool with me. Bad analogy in COVID times, but it still works. Stage 7 is really the goal. When I'm in the dream job, I get there and I'm experiencing it. And it's like, oh, I've got a national show and I've dreamed of this and I want to help as many people as possible. And we haven't achieved that yet. We're helping a lot of people, but I want to help millions and millions and millions, and I want to help people until the day I die. In fact, told my wife this the other night out on the patio. My dream scenario when I go to heaven is that I end the show and I just go boom right down on the desk. That'd be a good way to go, wouldn't it? Give everything you got, finish the show, and the guys are going, what's wrong with him? Is he all right? Did he just faint? And I'm up in heaven going, oh, that was a good race. That was a good run. I don't know that I'm going to get that opportunity. It might be a little gruesome for the team, but it sure would be fun for me. What do I care? I'm gone. It's about giving yourself away at this point. Stage 7 is giving yourself away. It's no longer about income, accolades, the competition of giving my best. Those are all worthy things. But stage 7 of give yourself away. This is the actualization of everything we talk about, of living and working on purpose. See, I believe it is at this stage where God looks down upon us and he says, well done, good and faithful servant. We want him to say that when we enter heaven, but I think he's thinking it well before if we do this right. And he's going, well done. This is why I created you. To maximize who I created you to be for the good of my world. That's what it's about. And so stage 7, we walk consecutively as we're in stage 6. We get the dream job, and then we realize after a little while of experiencing the dream and how great it is, and it's so fulfilling that we go, wait a second, I'm getting up every day not because I have to. I'm not even getting up anymore and going to work because I want to. It's actually deeper than that. I'm getting up every day because I realize I must. I haven't been given the permission slip to check out. I am on purpose showing up, fulfilling my role for others. Sure, I want to. Don't have to, but I want to. But it's deeper than want to. It's I must show up today. I got to show up today. I got to show up tomorrow. I got to show up the next day. And I'm going to tell you, the guy that models this for me is Dave Ramsey. The guy's a multi-millionaire. Dave's got an incredible leadership structure in Ramsey Solutions. He's still the day-to-day CEO, but he doesn't have to show up. And it's more than Dave wanting to do the show every day for 3 hours. He knows he must. People need hope. People need a plan. So that's why Dave does what he does. That's why I do what I do. And it's why you should do what you want to do. So if you're new to the journey, you're early on in the journey, you're halfway through the journey, or you're 3/4 of the way, I want you to know that we need you to keep on stepping. And you will get there. And when you do, it will be worth all of the waiting, all of the suffering, all of the persevering. It'll be worth it. I promise. And I'm going to be here with you, Lord willing, the entire way. My time is almost up, but before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.